Hey guys, welcome back to Critical Flick. Today I'm going to review Home Team from Netflix. So I have to say, I know this movie's been out for quite a while, but I had just watched it recently because, I was perusing through Netflix. I said, you know what, let me find some random thing that nobody's talking about. Let me see what it's about. And I didn't even know that this movie was about Sean Payton during his suspension from the NFL for Bountygate. And then I started it and I saw that Kevin James plays Sean Payton, and I was like, I have to watch this movie. This is the most ridiculous thing that I've ever seen in my life. And it proceeded to be just one of the weirdest movies, because at the end of the day, it is a story that's supposedly based on fact. And I guess maybe there are some elements in it. Sean Payton does have a cameo in it. Sorry to give a little spoiler right from the beginning, but he does have a cameo in the film if you hold out for a while to see it. And I guess he had some involvement, and I guess some of it is a true story, but it's just so bizarre. The way that this movie is told, the way that it's this comedic performance, it's a Happy Madison film, so you have all those, classic actors that you expect from it. And if you're someone who goes into it thinking it's going to be this really goofy, silly story, you're going to be satisfied with that. But if you're someone who's like, I'm a really big football fan, I love the NFL, I'm a big Eagles fan, but I do love all the major teams, and I know all the players and coaches and everything. So like watching it through the lens of like a really big football fan, it's just so weird. It's so bizarre to watch Kevin James play Sean Payton, have those similar mannerisms. He doesn't really look a whole lot like Sean Payton, so that was the kind of part that threw me off. And maybe that adds a comedic element if you're someone who's going into it thinking, hey, it's just kind of funny that he's playing Sean Payton. But I have to say, it's just a weird movie. So like I said, this takes place during his suspension from the NFL, and it talks about him going back to his family and getting back to the roots and getting back to, building this relationship that maybe he didn't have because he was working in the NFL. He was always busy. He was always preoccupied trying to coach the New Orleans Saints. And I have to say, it tries to be serious at times, like really heartfelt and really kind of, telling the story about a father reconnecting with his family. And I think it does, in some degree, work on those levels. But the strangeness of the movie and the framing of the events that are taking place are just too distracting for me to take it on any serious level. And okay, I will be the first to admit that I don't know the intricacies of what Sean Payton did during his free time when he was suspended from the NFL, but I don't feel like this is it. I don't feel like he was in this rundown, crappy motel and he's dealing with, his kid and his his wife's new boyfriend, husband, I can't remember in particular. It's been a little while since I watched the movie. Is this played by Rob Schneider, and he plays this very hippy dippy guy, and Sean Payton's this tough, like manly football man, and they have these interactions, but then he kind of learns from him, but then it's so goofy. You can tell this movie was written by like a group of friends that wanted to tell like a ridiculous story about, hey, what do you think Sean Payton did when he was suspended from the NFL, and let's just go full crazy with it. Definitely feels like that. It has a bad news bears element to it, so it works on those levels because it is a story of he comes in and he's helping his son coach his football team, and he's building it up for him, and it's kind of this like ragtag team, and they're going to go and they're going to beat the good team across town. They're going to win states, and it's going to be this epic story. When in reality, I looked into it, his son's team was phenomenal because he's the son of Sean Payton, and they were great anyway, and they won like every game. So the story of it's fake, but I guess you need to do that for Hollywood. You need to make an interesting story about, an underdog team coming back because they're coached by the great Sean Payton. Another thing that's also kind of a little bizarre about this movie is that they cast Taylor Lautner as Sean Payton's son's coach before Sean Payton arrives. And it's kind of interesting because I feel like he's been typecast by Hollywood maybe unfairly as Jacob from Twilight, and he hasn't been in a lot of movies, so this casting kind of struck me as interesting. And I don't know, he's like a strange character in the movie because he is very serious in a way. He's not as goofy as the rest of the characters, and he feels like he's acting in a different movie entirely. But like I said, the main takeaway is that this movie is really weird. It's bizarre that it got made. The story's really strange, so it's almost a movie you want to watch because it's so odd that it even got created. And I think it's worth watching in a way just for that. It's not a great movie. It has some funny moments, but I wouldn't even say it's overall like a really, really funny movie. If you're someone who enjoys that Happy Madison comedy, maybe you'll enjoy it. I did find a few moments that I liked, but like I said, I tried describing this movie to my friends who are also really big football fans, and they were like, wait, what? There's a movie about Sean Payton, but Kevin James plays Sean Payton, and it's a comedy produced by Adam Sandler. It's really weird. So if I were to rate this movie, I would give it a 3 out of 10. I can't, in all honesty, say that it's a great film. It might be something you could enjoy if you're someone who likes these goofy movies, or you're just kind of just bizarrely interested in it like I was. But if you do check out this movie, let me know what you think about it. I know it's been out for a little while, and probably not a lot of people even checked it out,
But if you did see it and if you enjoyed it, especially let me know, because I really do like hearing when people like a movie that I think is just goofy and just not great, what they think is really good or really enjoyable. I love hearing those differing opinions because maybe it gives me a different perspective on movies. Makes me feel more well-rounded when I'm talking about them. Leave those comments down below. Remember to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time.